Morning, Math Guy Steve. Let's try solving this equation. So when solving rational equations or equations with fractions, no one wants to deal with fractions. I don't, and I love math, right? So we try to get rid of the fractions in the first step, okay? And that is by finding the LCD and multiplying everything by that LCD. In other words, the least common denominator. Now, when finding the least common denominator, when polynomials in the denominators or there's more than one term in the denominator, then what we do is we say, well, let's try factoring each denominator and then combining them to see, well, what's the least common of the denominators? What factors I need in order to create the thing that they have in common that's the least. So let's try factoring this first denominator. Well, we know they both have an x in common. Okay, so if I take an x out of each or factor out an x out of each, we're left with x minus 1. Okay, all right. So we factored the first denominator. Let's try this one. Well, this one's only one term, so there's nothing to factor there. Okay, and then factoring this denominator, it's the same as the first one. So the denominator factor would be x times x minus 1. All right, so our least common denominator here would be, okay, I know I need an x. I know I need an x minus 1. And then, well, these two denominators don't have anything new that I need to add to it. So here's our LCD. And so once we find that LCD, then when solving these rational equations, we multiply everything by that LCD. Okay, so we multiply everything by this x times x minus 1. Okay, so this one gets an x times x minus 1, and this one gets an x times, everybody gets an x times x minus 1. All right, okay. And what this does is this helps us get rid of all of the denominators. All right, meaning here, notice the x's and the x minus 1s cancel. So we're left with just the numerator, and that is just the 1. Okay, all right, here, just the x's cancel. So I'm left with that numerator 1 times the x minus 1 parts, okay? And here the same thing as the first one, and that is the x's cancel and the x minus 1s cancel. So I'm left with just the numerator, just 5. So now this creates a way easier equation to solve. All right, next up, get rid of these parentheses, right? They're just in the way. And so we distribute across the parentheses. So this gives me 1 plus, okay, 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Equals 5. Combining like terms, well, there's nothing to combine with the x, but then this 1 and this negative 1, though, combining those, they actually cancel each other out, right? So we get x equals 5. Okay, we've solved the equation. Now, when solving these equations, we definitely have to do our Nike step, which is called the check step, okay? All right. Now, especially with rational equations, because sometimes with rational equations, we get what's called extraneous solutions, meaning though we did all the algebra properly, the equation solution just doesn't work out in that equation. So let's check it. Make sure you check it, okay? So, and how do we check it? Plug that x back into the original equation for all the x's and see if we get a true statement. Let's try it. Okay, so that's 1 over x squared, so 5 squared minus x minus 5 plus 1 over that same 5. And we're asking, is that equal to 5 over 5 squared minus 5. Let's see. We're checking it. So that's 1 over, okay, 5 squared is 25. Minus 5 is 20. So 1 over 20 plus 1 over 5. Is that equal to 5 over 5 squared is 25 minus 5 is 20. Is this true? Well, 1 over 20 plus 1 over 5 is the same as, and I'll check it, finish checking it here. 1 over 20 plus, finding a common denominator, we get 4 over 20. Is that the same as 5 over 20? It surely is. Yep. 5 over 20 equals 5 over 20. That's been true all my life. Yep. So, again, solving these rational equations is not too bad. Okay? We really factor each denominator, find the least common denominator, multiply everything by that LCD, all right, to get rid of all the fractions, and then solve. But make sure we do that Nike step. Make sure we check it. Okay? Just to see, make sure we don't have any extraneous solutions. All right? So, always remember, math is everywhere.